Good evening. Welcome to Astrology Throwdown tonight, where we talk about what's going on in my life. So, what is going on in my life? I mentioned a couple days ago that I was outside looking at the stars and a drone flew up and came to my house and then flew around my house for a while. And then it flew away. Okay. So someone near me is operating a drone and sending it to my house. That's what that means. And then it happened again. Okay. So who's doing that? And the technology was really state of the art, let's just say. Oh, who's got access to the latest technology? A certain foreign spy agency would have a drone like that, the kind that you don't even see on the internet or anything. Latest technology. Anyway, so that was last week. Okay. Let's take a time machine back to a time that we remember so well, the beginning of 2020, when the publicists really started the big one. Okay. And they all rolled out with their stories and their guilt trips. And you're a terrible person if you don't believe the television. If you don't believe the television, we're gonna kick you out of society if you don't believe the television immediately. That's what they did in 2020. Okay, so what came along with that? Um, the TV told people to bang their pots at 7 for the first responders. That's the story. Okay, so think about that. People are terrified for their lives, being threatened with losing their jobs, losing every single thing in their life, and even their lives themselves, because everything was, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, do what we say, you're gonna die. Okay, so that's all they heard beginning of 2020. And then at the same time, they launched, oh, and bang pots at 7 for the first responders. Okay, so it's bad enough that they were tormenting us and lying to us and tricking us and everything, but they had to disturb people with these banging pots and yelling and making noise at 7. Think about how horrible that was for people to have to be frightened by the television, be told that their lives are imminently going to end probably because of this story. And a lot of lives did end because of the story. My mother's life ended because of the story. Anyway, so all these people are being frightened by the television, and then the television is telling people to make noise at 7 for the first responder. It doesn't even make sense. Okay, fine. So they launched that along with it. They can launch anything they want. They own the media. All they have to do is pick up the phone and say, you're going to say this, and then they say it. So then the media said, go make noise at 7 when people are scared and should have been scared, because look at what has been done to us. So that was their idea of a good idea. So, of course, I got my noise at 7. 7. Okay, so there it was. This guy is lighting fireworks at 7 now. He's banging pots at 7. He's screaming. He's yelling. He's just having a big party. He's so excited. He's so happy about this this big story that's being told. He's a publicist for it. He actually had his own children put tiny little masks in my mailbox, and he had it photographed. Okay, so you're not supposed to put things in my mailbox. That's how you know it's them. They do everything. They just trample on all the rules. Oh my goodness, I get a tiny little baby mask in my mailbox. What do I think? What do I think? Can you imagine? I'm like, oh, they're putting things in my mailbox, which they totally were. Okay, because they cannot leave me alone. Why can't they leave me alone? Because the biggest threat in the world to this foreign spy agency and the banking dynasty that pays them so richly to serve them, okay? Anyway, this is a very serious problem. The point is that they are terrified that we will figure them out and unite. They have a wonderful time trampling on our rights and doing anything that they want, as long as we don't figure them out and unite. How do I know that this is the one thing that scares them? Because I've studied them. I've researched them. that can stop them, and they know it. There's not that many of them. Their practices are in no way acceptable. They should not be acceptable to them, the things they do. But when we find out what they do to children, we cannot tolerate them. And I'm telling you this, I have looked into a lot of history. I'm only really an expert on Napoleon, but I can put things together. This is an old story. This is a group that continues throughout history to behave in a very vampirish way with children. And then everybody figures it out, things happen, and they have to start over again. Okay? See, they don't just die, they come back. Look at history, look at the stories. Look, and they pretend to be this, they pretend to be that. Don't think it's true. They are what they are. And it's probably something closer to vampires. And then they pretend they belong to this religion, they pretend they belong to that religion. And then when they're close to getting caught, they frame that religion. And then everyone's so mad at what they've been doing to children that the population go after the people that they framed. That's the whole scapegoat thing. That's the trick they're playing. They have certain groups that they can expect to behave a certain way. That I've noticed. They expect women to behave a certain way, different racial groups. You know, they tell us, "Oh, don't talk about race." Oh, they talk about race. They've got race all figured out. That these ones do this, those ones do that. They have it all figured out. And then they play us against each other because they know what our weaknesses are. For example, the Germans. I think the Germans is a group that they really worry about a lot. And that explains a lot of World War II, that they're always trying to paralyze the Germans, just like they're trying to paralyze me. They want to paralyze the strong and the intelligent. So if that foreign spy agency, which is so richly paid by that banking dynasty, is after you, it means you're strong and you're smart and you're doing it right. It is an honor to be targeted by them because they're not that strong, but they can recognize the strength in us and they run to it. Okay, where am I going with this? So, Mr. Potbanger ran his operation for about 2 months. Whoa, 2 months of making noise for the first responders that absolutely do not live here. How interesting. How odd. And then there were other little places that would support that. And then I said he was a 9/11 criminal and I knew it. And he ran off and he did run off. Oh, but the other ones that supported him, I saw where they were. I know where they are. Okay, that foreign spy agency does not get to put people all around my house. And I guess they think if they're hiding in their backyards doing things, no one will ever figure out who they are. Anyway, so one day we get a flyer. Oh, we're going to have a wedding, nothing, no big deal. And then the wedding happens and it's all these teenagers creating a real ugly mess outside my house, being very intimidating and threatening, a lot of them. Okay, fine. And that's when the police came. And the police shone their lights on these teenagers. It was not a wedding. It was nothing. And I saw exactly where it was coming from, right where the Potbanger support was. Okay, of course, it's very close to my house, but I can't see them. They do not get to run around this country like that. Okay, what that means is that spy agency is occupying this country. A tiny little spy agency with the latest technology is occupying our nation at the highest levels. I've been saying this all throughout. I've been proving it. And because they are occupying this nation completely illegally, outside our wishes, outside the truth of sovereignty, we have the right to pick our rulers. They do not have the right to come here and oppress us and surround me. Okay, so they were intimidating me and acting like, oh, it's a wedding, so you can't say anything. There's always a guilt trip with these people. It was not a wedding. It was a bunch of teenagers kind of being intimidating around my house. But it's a wedding. They lie. You can't say anything about a wedding, right? You can't say anything about pot banging when it's behind children, right? That's how you know it's them. They always bake in that little guilt trip, that reason why you can't talk, you can't say anything. And it's something, sentimental or something with children. That is Saul Alinsky. Hold their own rules against them. I'm paraphrasing it, but we have the rules that you need to value a wedding or let them be, right? And we should be good to children. They don't value their weddings. They're not good to children, yet they hold us to that. Okay? Anyway, so like I said, every chance they get, crazy fireworks. January 1st, cold, dead of winter, they're out there making a lot of noise, just letting me know we're here and there's nothing you can do about it. That's them. Okay. And as long as I can't see their face, because I have cameras all around the house. Okay. So they're just beyond where the cameras can carry them. I said that wrong. They're invisible. They have to be invisible. They have to hide. So they're hiding right outside my house. Okay. I know they have so much money. Okay. I don't think they have that many people. And if my sources are right, a lot of that foreign spy agency has flipped. Why? Because they're dupes and they were tricked into serving that foreign spy agency. And they thought it was a nice thing. I know this. Okay. They thought it was a nice thing until they got there and found out the truth. Just like me in the celebrity environment situation. I didn't think it was a nice thing, but I didn't know what it was till I got there. And there's a lot of people at that foreign spy agency who feel the same way. I'm sure of it. And they know what that foreign spy agency is now. And they are really not supporting the agenda of the genocidal, slaving banking dynasty. Okay? They don't want to support that. They were there because they actually believed that they were protecting their people. It's lies. We're all being lied to at all levels. It's not just us nobodies, everybody's being lied to. Everybody is being lied to. There's the mastermind, and then there's the heir of the dynasty, and then there's the dupes. And I'm saying at the higher levels, they're dupes. Don't think they're not. Ooh, guess what? That makes them very vulnerable because when the executive vice president finds out that he was duped, he's mad. Okay, the executive vice president is very used to thinking that he's in control and he knows what he's all about. And when he finds out that every single thing in his life was a load of BS, he's mad and he is in a position to fight back. That's what this is all about. That's what this has always been about. They can put all of the agents in a neighborhood they want. Okay. This is about getting to that executive vice president and saying to him, do you want a future? Do you want your wife to have a future? Do you want your grandchildren to have a future? Do you want to be tied up and have freaking forced medical care from genocidal slavers pushed on you and your family for the rest of your life? Of course not. This is about getting to him and her and all the people just south of that banking dynasty and letting everybody know we cannot go on this way. This is not about anything but our survival, our spirits, our future. I don't want anything from anybody, basically. I just want to live and have my freedom. And I want to talk to my twin flame, who happens to be Elvis Costello. I want to talk to him. I really do. And this is ridiculous that I can't talk to him because it looks like our relationship would be a threat to the dynasty. They did the same things 200 years ago. When I see now, it's going to sound kooky, but it's the truth, and I've proven it. This is what they do. They keep us apart because somehow it keeps them in power. And I don't think he and I are stoppable together, but we are together. We are together. We're just not physically together. So don't think we're apart because we're not. Anyway, so I'm all worked up like usual. So every single chance these people get, they make a lot of noise with fireworks. And it sounds like a war the way they do it. They do so much, okay? And this is supposed to be a nice beach community. And they come here and destroy it. So everyone around me who pays $50,000 to live out here for the summer have to deal with this from the foreign spy agency. Anyway, so I said on the stream 2 nights ago, It was like a war zone outside of my house. 2 hours of fireworks. I saw exactly where it's coming from. It's a couple places. So I got a couple of them around me. Maybe it's not totally agents, but it's just stooges. It's the Hamptons. They're easy to find. Okay. So there's like a few around me, but as long as they hide, so everybody just really pay attention to them and figure out who they are and let them know that you know what they are. Okay? Because that's the only thing that's going to work is pushing back and saying, we see you and we're sick of it. You're destroying our town. That whole thing with Matt Lauer was about them destroying our town. We used to be able to walk around. And now we can't walk around anymore. And then Matt Lauer comes out like he's the victim. That's what that was about. That they are destroying our town with this foreign spy agency, criminal, intimidating, terrorist type behavior. I am fighting for my homeland. This is unbelievable. Anyway, so 2 nights ago, it was like a war zone outside my house. I'm seeing this wrong. It was 3 nights ago. 2 nights ago, it was like a war zone outside my house. 2 hours of fireworks in a very flammable neighborhood. It's a complete, total family neighborhood if they care so much about children. And it's illegal. It's totally illegal. What is this? So what have they done that they can just do whatever they want? Okay. So I said, if they did it again, I was going to live stream it. I threatened to live stream it last night because, of course, on 4th of July, they're going to really do it up. It's the only time they really have some sort of pretext. And these people are so pretext based. Basically, they're so, they have to hide who they are. They have to hide what they think. They have to lie all the time. Yes, they have these, I guess, exciting parties or something, but they're so repressed. The dark occultists that do these things to me. And then when they get that pretext, they're so pent up and frustrated. they overdo it and they totally expose themselves. So last night, I was going to see what kind of fireworks I was going to get. 4th of July, it's the perfect pretext. They can really go crazy. They can roll the tanks in. They can do everything. It's 4th of July. They have a pretext. And I said, I'm going to stream it. So what did I get? Did they not do it? Oh, no, they had to do it. They have to do something, right? Can't do nothing. Okay, but I was going to live stream it. So I was going to show what complete total psychopaths they're being and how illegal their behavior is. It was probably going to create a huge outrage that they are constantly persecuting and doing all these illegal intimidation things to me. Because I was going to once again prove what they're doing to me, I got a very moderate amount of fireworks for about an hour and a half. That's what I got. Not a war zone, crazy, aggressive level of fireworks, just a sort of moderated pace, hour and a half. Okay? I could just see them calling in. Oh, oh. Well, we can't stop. She thinks she's gonna think she's winning. So you cannot do it. You still have to do it. But don't do it too much, because then people are going to hate us even more. It is really funny. Okay, fine. That's my story. Okay? Intimidating me at my house is very legal. I know you guys don't think I know who you are, but that can change. It changed with the first one. I know his name. Okay? That was easy. And then he ran off. Because he did do 9/11 like you all did. See? Better hide. Lighting fireworks at your house like that is not hiding. That's giving out the address to the people who did 9/11, just so you know. Okay? But, see, that's how the bounce works. They do things to me. They're a joke. And then it goes back, destroys their lives. They'll never recover. And they know it. I'm going to tell another story. No, I'm going to tell this story. Okay. I've got so many. I got so many. I feel like I can't tell them because they sound so crazy, but they are crazy. But I feel like I'm gonna sound crazy just telling what they do. All right. So keep on telling these stories. I have a neighbor. I never met him really. Just a little kid. He seems like an extraordinary person. And why do I say that? Because he's like a bike daredevil. And I guess I've been here since he's a baby, so I've been watching him become this bike daredevil, and I suspect it has something to do with the project. I think the project's affecting him a little. Anyway, I have my scooter and stuff. Anybody wants my scooter, I'm giving it away. My beautiful plaid scooter. I can't believe I'm giving it away, but I'm guided to give it away, and I'm giving it away. Okay. Anyway, I should give it to him. Why don't I give it to him? I should give it to him. That is the right thing to do. Okay. I'll try to give it to him. If you're watching, I'm gonna give you the scooter. It's not that hard to take care of. I just don't have the time. Anyway, and it's souped up too. It's really powerful. It's a motorcycle. Anyway, I hate to give it up, but I'm being told to, so I have to. See, this is how it works. Anyway, so I get this really cool little daredevil running around my neighborhood, and he seems like he's special. He seems special to me. Okay, fine. And he had this little electric bike. He was buzzing around and buzzing around and buzzing around, and he runs all over my yard. Okay, and I don't care. I don't care. Go ahead, have fun. So I like him. I never talk to him, but I like him. I like what I say. Anyway, so then middle of the night, there's someone on my bushes. I let my dog out. Okay, like because I'm being spied on, you know. So they know when I let my dog out in the middle of the night at that time. Okay, and then there's a kid in my bushes. And I'm so sensitive. I can feel people. He was hyperventilating for fear. Probably an 18-year-old, I want to say. And he started up his electric bike really loud, and it flew away. Flew away on his electric bike. So he was literally in my bushes, 12 at night, and then sped off like he was up to something. And they think I'm a nut. They know I have guns. Okay? They think I'm a hothead, which I am. And then Spirit Napoleon explained the whole thing to me. I was like, no, it can't be that. He's like, it is that. He explained it to me, what they were trying to get me to do. I couldn't believe it because it was so crazy. Okay. So their dream in life, the best thing, their max gain scenario with me would be that I would shoot a child, right? Wouldn't that be perfect? That would solve all their problems. I want to show you how they think. I want you to get into their scarcity mentality. So they sit around at the Zoom meeting and they say, what would be the best thing to deal with Tanster? Oh, get her to shoot a child. Then no one will listen to her anymore and she won't be credible. That would be perfect. That's why we did the Molesta Group cartoons, because it's so absurd that they sit around and think of ways to destroy my life. But they do. That's that foreign spy agency and the plants that they install in Canada and the United States. That is how they do it, as we all know. Anyway, that is what's going on. Let's change the subject. It's the time for that. I think I've said enough. But it's, like I said, bring it on, because it's a very small group and a lot of people are aware. A lot of people are aware now. And I think it's going to be much, much more difficult for them to mow us all down now. And that's what this is all about, making it very difficult for them to mow us down. And we have to push back. We have to stand up to them. We have to expose them every chance we get. If they've put all kinds of plants around my neighborhood, or if they just have all kinds of plants around my neighborhood, we need to find out exactly who those people are. Yeah, because they are traitors. Okay, harassing me because I do journalism in the United States and I stand up for the plight of humanity. Why don't they think they're humans? You have to wonder why the plight of humanity is something that they aggressively attack. Are they human? Do you consider yourself human? Do I consider myself human? What benefits another human benefits me. Who are they that they think all for us and kill them? Okay, that's their mentality. And they are surrounding me at my house because I'm a populist leader and nothing frightens them more than populist movements because that is it. If we unite, they're done. And I think we're close. All right. It's all about standing our ground, saying no, listening to our guidance, knowing what we can get away with and what we can't get away with. That's where guidance comes in. Guidance tells you, go ahead, it's clear. You need it to do this stuff. And they'll let you know you can get away with this basically. Everything I do is how much I can get away with. And that's Andy Warhol. Art is what you can get away with. I ran with that one. But it's true. It is true. Art is what you can get away with. Life is what you can get away with. You can have as much as you can get away with. And that's what they learned. They learned they can have everything they can get away with. And them getting away with everything has led us here. We can't let them get away with everything. We have to unite. We have to unite. We have to unite. We must unite. We must unite. Okay. And in the efforts of uniting, and I have such gratitude to Elvis and Elvis Costello and Van Morrison for taking leadership roles. I don't know if Van wants to be viewed that way, but he did take a leadership role. He's not obligated in any way to do anything else, but he has taken a leadership role. And that's what we really needed. And when we needed that, he was that for us. And that's why I have eternal debt to him, obviously. So, as we know. Anyway, the point is that we do have leaders and they are leading us as well as they can. And I am leading you as well as we can. And the organization comes from within, inside our souls. We will know what to do. There is organization. The whole point of this project is to show that there is a structural framework that we can rely on. It is invisible, but it is there. So if I come out running around telling the truth in a world overrun by organized crime, yeah, I don't expect to live that long doing that. Of course not. I knew the world was full of organized crime when I started doing this. I knew that I was doing the one thing that would get me killed. And I believe that that's a lot of why Van and Elvis did step up and show so much sympathy for me, because they believed that I was going to get killed and they didn't want that to happen. That's what I believe. And I have eternal gratitude about it, obviously. Particularly because I was so aggressive with Elvis, but I do see why that was necessary, unfortunately. But I don't feel good about it, and it's terrible. But but that's what made his actions so much more heroic. And for that, that's good. You know, he can be so heroic because he was so generous and correct. So I put up a video of Elvis today talking up his beloved football team, Liverpool Football Club. And I didn't know he liked it that much. Boy, that was a surprise. I've always, I understand sports. It's very, it's sentimental. It's very, and I could hear the way he was talking about. He's, oh my God, what a sentimental person. And while I was watching him on the on-field rap, which just looks like a really good show, that was a good interview, and it was very real. It was wonderful. No agenda, no agenda chat. It was actually really refreshing. Media should be more like that, just more real. And anyway, so Mr. Elvis is talking about his homeland, his past, his mother, where he comes from, the things that he cares about. And at the same time, I was researching his moon in the synastry chart. It was so funny because Elvis has this strong, but very afflicted moon. It's so strong because it's conjunct Jupiter, which makes it really famous, kind of, and benevolent, big hearted, and adventurous, and high minded, spiritual, and really smart, really intellectual. And I shouldn't say intellectual, but high level intelligence kind of thing. And then he has Uranus, which is the wild, shocking maniac, and the moon all together, which is already how do you even deal with that? And then it's so afflicted. It's square Venus, so difficult relationships, difficult, and then a square Neptune, getting tricked and illusions, and also difficulty expressing his talent because that's his talent area, Neptune and Venus and Libra. But it's so difficult. His feelings. What I keep getting is that he had to sacrifice what he really wanted for his music career, and that's what I'm seeing in his chart. It's um he wants two things at the same time and they're not reconcilable. That's what is all over. It's like two things that can't fit together. So he has to make hard, like you have to cut your leg off to live kind of thing. He's got a lot of that type of situation. Yeah, like, oh, you can live, but you don't have that leg anymore. He has a lot of that. And if you really peer into his soul, he doesn't really want to be running around with groupies and staying up and drinking. That's not really what he's here for. That was not the life he really wanted. But he has a mission. He has to do it. And I do think that this has been his mission because he had to learn those things. Because I was sent into, I feel, a similar situation with that cult that I got sucked into at the end of 2015 and throughout 2016. I was looking to heal. That's all. I just wanted to get better. And they started putting spells on me in this cult. It was an online cult, and I mean it's all online. If you want to know every single thing that happened, it's up. It's pretty interesting. But basically, I was guided to go into a bad situation. That's what's so interesting. I kind of think maybe Elvis was even guided to go into a bad situation to a much larger degree. So by the time I was done with this New Age cult, let's call it that, I understood how the freaking Satanists work. I knew inside and out how Satanists work because that guy's a Satanist. He, once you get around them enough, you can just see it. It's these things are being run by Satanists to subvert the population, control everybody. This is a really sick plot that they're running. And there's a lot of it in Minnesota. Boy, you want to talk to someone who knows about that? There's a spirit of Prince. And I got to tell you, I'm seeing the spirit of Prince all over Elvis. He's playing like Prince. It's so nice. I love that. Ah, Prince. Prince is a talk to Prince to everybody. He's a doll. A doll. I'm sure Elvis knows it because it looks like he's learning guitar from him. I can see that. Because Prince, the way you know it's Prince is it's Prince, but it's like 50% Jimi Hendrix. But you know Prince when you see it. Elvis is playing like Prince. Oh, I love it. I just want to see Prince. It's so beautiful. Keep him alive. He was so passionate about guitar, and I don't want to start Prince. Everybody, Prince is a good soul, and you can talk to him. He's a good. I don't know what he's like. Because he's an angel now or something. But you can talk to Prince, and he'll tell you all about Minnesota. He always says Carver County is full of devils. That's his line to me. Carver County is full of devils. So that's Hamlet 2022. It's Prince coming back on. Carver County's full of devils. that's that's his voice from beyond calling out Carver County. He says they covered his death up and there's really bad people in there. He's told me that many, many, many times. Anyway, so that anyway, let's drop it. So I had a good look at the moon placement. I'm gonna look at this again and again because every single time I look at it, I get a new perspective. And my point about the on-field wrap, which did seem like a really nice web show, everything he was saying was something to do with the moon. He was talking about the romance, the romanticism, everything about the football and the passion, how it's all coming from this this place of just nostalgia and how he cherishes the good that he did have. He's such a special person. He's like my opposite and the same and older, so it's not the same generation, so it's really interesting. Sentimental. I'm not. I can't. I like. It makes me cry too much, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful how sentimental. How much he loves England. Anyway, we have to save England. He loves England so much. It's so amazing. Napoleon. Napoleon loves England so much, but Napoleon always cared about England. He always. If you even go into the story of Napoleon, Napoleon loved England, and Napoleon III also did. He lived in England, and he tried to bring a lot of the beauty of London to Paris, and he did, and he made Paris much more beautiful. Napoleon always wanted to rule the world with England. Anyway, hopefully we can turn things around and cooperate. We can find a way. There's so many solutions if we can just talk and organize and stop being so scared of this group. Yes, they put people all around me. It's obvious. So they got rid of the one guy that was like really, he had his cover blown, but they kept the other ones. Why do they have all of this money to do this? Why are they running like this around the Hamptons? Okay, so we need to fight for our country and push the enemy within back to wherever they're from. All of us have to do it. We have to do it. Fight, like I'm doing. Fight, like Van Morrison's doing. And like Elvis is fighting. He's doing his best. That I know. He's doing his best, absolutely. So he's fighting for his homeland, and he has moon in Cancer. You can't get more fighting for his homeland than that. So he wants to save his country. I know that. I know that. He doesn't tell me too much, but I know things. He wants to save his country. He loves England. England's the head of the snake. We all know that. Anyway, so I can see everything coming together, and that I think we're ready. The only way is if we unite. Only way is if we unite. We unite or we let them have everything. That's our choice. And they've been committing a lot of crimes against me for years, and this is where I'm doing my trial against them. And if you think that I'm right and what they're doing is wrong, please, as the jury in my trial, vote with your actions and take actions carefully guided so you'll be safe. And follow your intuition, follow your instincts, and we'll get out of this. And then when we do that, we'll be new people and we'll be ready to have a better world because we'll take responsibility for ourselves. See, that's what has to happen. We have to change. It can't be given to us. They have infantilized us, and they've put us into a state of learned helplessness where we think we can't take care of ourselves. I mean, this is all mind control. Okay, we can take care of ourselves. We can find a way. We can find a way to live. I watch my little fish on my streams. They find a way to live somehow. So anyway, so I was looking at this aspect between me and Elvis in our synastry chart. It was moon in Cancer, square Uranus and Libra. So I'm the Uranus and Libra. I'm the shocking person. And then he's the moon in Cancer with a conjunct of Jupiter and Uranus. So it's almost really Uranus square Uranus. This is the weirdest thing ever. And then that Uranus is plugging into his whole musical stellium in Libra also. So this is going to set him free. The way it plugs in, because I have this giant T square. It's so potent. I have, like, always talking about Mars on the Senate in Aries, and then opposite Uranus square Jupiter, and then that's plugging into his career zone where he's so trapped. Anyway, we're really excited. This is gonna get better. This is definitely gonna get better. I see hope. There's a lot of room for hope. So if you want to hear more about the research that I did into Elvis's moon, check that out on the Astrology Report, okay? All right, let's go into a letter with Napoleon. So this is the end of the marriage. Josephine is miserable. She thinks that he's going to leave her. Here it is. Let's hear that letter. I have received your letter of October 25th. We're having superb weather here. You will see by the bulletin that we have taken Stettin. It is a very strong place. All my affairs are going in the best possible way, and I am very well satisfied. There is lacking to me the pleasure of seeing you, but I hope that will not be long delayed. 1,000 remembrances to Hortense, to Stephanie, and to little Napoleon. Adieu, my love. All thine, Napoleon. Pretty typical letter of that time. So now we are going to go into Elvis's memoirs. What was going on? So Elvis was seeing the Grateful Dead, freezing in the corner of a tent, listening to I Will Booglerize You by Captain Beefheart, which we did have the great benefit of hearing on the blog. So I know I'm going to booglerize you. It's a cocaine theme song. So that was pretty funny. You never know what you're going to get with Elvis. That's for sure. That's that Uranus conjunct moon. Oh my goodness. It's only going to become much more revolutionary and much more shocking now that it's Uranus square Uranus. Oh my goodness. Plugging into his Neptune, Venus, and Libra. This is going to be really interesting. Our charts are a nightmare apart, but they're actually very powerful together. Maybe they're meant to be together. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. We'll find out. By November 72, we had gathered enough original material to make a first demo tape. It's a shame I didn't think to clean the heads of the recorder, as there are 78 RPMs by Memphis Minnie or Charlie Patton that have better fidelity. But there is enough of an imprint on the oxide to show that we weren't entirely deluding ourselves. We might not have been Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but we knew the name of the horse that they rode on, if you catch my drift. At the end of the music, I faithfully and trustingly recited the names of our songs, giving Alan's telephone number as a contact, but no one ever called us, and our dreams were dashed. Alan and I would sometimes even try collaborating, but I wrote much faster, so I'd get impatient and tend to finish the songs alone. One song in which we did work together was A Sorry Tale of a Married Couple. act called The Show Must Go On. I got the idea for the lyrics after going with my dad to a couple of his club dates. To my somewhat unsympathetic teenage eye, each publicity 8 by 10 framed on the club walls contained a little tragedy. We named the couple in the story Maureen and Dan, two people who were ill equipped for the beauty contest of fame. I revised and reworked the song and the story many times until nothing much of the original remained. Eventually put the woozy recording of what became Ghost Train on tape in 1980, armed only with a couple of guitars, a marimba, and a head full of smoke. In 1969, my father had cast off the routine of singing in the dance hall and refused another long term contract with Joe Loss. He decided to strike out on his own on the cabaret and social club circuit. Most of the work concentrated in the still industrialized areas of South Wales, Scotland, and north of England. He had gradually grown his hair until it no longer looked right with the uniform of Italian suits and tuxedos. So he started wearing crushed velvet frock coats and brocade jackets, a chain with the cross, and a string of Nepalese beads over a long collared shirt of satin or embroidered cotton. His engagements were often in working men's clubs, attached to factories and coal mines, booked by social secretaries who often filled the part time role between shifts. They rejoiced in names like Sid the Bastard, reportedly a man impatient with the vanities of show people. Ross was now making his own choices from the hit parade and picking songs from contemporary albums that would have never made it into his Hammersmith Palais repertoire, just as he had done with chart singles. He would memorize these records and then pass them on to me. One stack of records he arrived with contained Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, Oh Yeah by Charles Mingus, and Easy by Marvin Gaye, and Tammy Terrell, which contained the Onion song with its immortal lines. The world is just a great big onion, and pain and fear are the spices that make you cry. Hope you have a nice evening. Thank you so much for listening.